Hi friends, good morning. You all are in the most important level of CA. Yes, your CA final. And I tell you, this level should not be taken lightly. Your articleship will go on very fast and you'll not realize, oh, my exams have came. And at the last moment, you'll think, let me give only one group or let me skip this attempt. I'm getting so many messages on this thing on a regular basis. Please ensure you give equal importance to your studies. You don't take your studies lightly and make sure you're finishing your coaching on a timely basis. Okay, now a subject of FR, financial reporting. When I take a face-to-face batch at Bangalore, we have divided in two parts. One is all the chapters and second are the pure Ind AS. Yes, in your finals you don't have accounting standards, you have now Ind AS, Indian Accounting Standards. We'll be learning in depth everything about it. So we have divided FR subject in two parts, all the chapters, and second is basically the pure Ind AS. Now all chapters I take and your pure Ind AS is taken by another faculty at Bangalore. So I was eagerly waiting to come out with this Ind AS recording. So this is the recording for all Ind AS. Now this Ind AS are all principle based. Yeah, it's principle based, adopted from IFRS. Like in India we used to have accounting standards, not we used to, we are still having. So we have accounting standards, and globally which was there was IFRS, International Financial Reporting Standards. Now there were a bit of difference in accounting standards and IFRS to make our accounts comparable world over. To make our accounts comparable world over, we converged to IFRS. Now, sir, what is this converged? I'm coming to it. We converged to IFRS by coming out with new set of standard Ind AS. As of today, both your accounting standard as well as Ind AS, both are prevalent. I repeat, as of today, your accounting standards and Ind AS both are prevalent. Ind AS are applicable to companies having a net worth 250 crores or more. Companies having net worth 250 crores or more. The AS are still there, and I tell you, it will remain. So as of now, we have accounting standard as well as Ind AS, and it will remain in future as well. For small organizations, you can't tell them to follow Ind AS. The language of Ind AS is not easy. Now, coming to an exam pattern, your Ind AS questions will not be as big as the chapters which we did. Like we did a chapter of consolidated financial statements. We prepare consolidated balance sheets, consolidated P&L. We had a chapter of business combination, amalgamation kind of. There were big questions on it. Ind AS questions will not be big. They will be more of kind of theoretical or conceptual questions of 5-marker. Now imagine when they ask 5-marker question, they don't want conclusions. They want the provisions to be written properly. The Ind AS language needs to be interpreted in a proper way, and we need to ensure that we write bit of the language. I don't say line by line. Bit of the language has to be written in examination. Our material will cover everything. Yeah, it's based on ICI material. It covers all your RTP questions. It covers all your suggested answers and whatever extra things which I thought were necessary to explain you in a proper manner, that all is included in our material. So if you are doing our material, all ICAI questions are getting covered. Don't worry about that. Now, what I want from your side. See, this thing is conceptual and you have to understand it very logically. So whenever you're watching these lectures, I want that you should not watch it like a movie or a cricket match. It's not a IPL, you can lie on the sofa and watch it. No. Please make sure you sit in one room. Yeah, if suppose by chance separate room is not there, okay, you sit in one table with your headphones. Yeah, never ever play your lectures on speakers. Better is use headphones. Others are not disturbed. On a fixed timing basis. Our lectures are generally of 3 hours. You can make it a slot. Either every day morning or either every day evening. Just like you are attending a normal class, you are watching our lectures. Please do it in a disciplined manner. This is the most important thing which is required in CA final. Your discipline is the most important thing that's required. Knowledge comes second. I'm telling you, knowledge comes second. Discipline will come first. So please ensure you watch this video lectures in a very well way, not like a cricket match or a movie. Always have your calculator, have your water bottle. You don't have to get up in between. Have your water bottle. Yeah, we'll give a break after 1.5 2 hours. You can use restroom during that time. So no need to pause and go every time. Better have a system as if you are sitting in a class only. So your morning 6:30 to 9:30 is class, or evening 6:30 to 9:30 is class. Make it a schedule. You're watching like that only and paying proper attention. I'll try to cover each and every ifs and buts. Yeah, all ifs and buts will be covered. In case anything remains, you can definitely contact me for the doubts. The number was given on the introduction slide. Every lecture, introduction slide will have the number to ask me the doubts. Don't worry about that. Now, sir, should I take up FR part first? Should I take up Ind AS part first? Means the chapter part or this pure Ind AS part. I always suggest to take that chapters wale part. The chapter part which I take on face-to-face in Bangalore, that should be taken first, then is Ind AS. By chance, if you have not done that chapter wala thing, it's okay. It's okay. We'll be going from basics only, but I'll recommend take up that chapters wale part first and then this pure Ind AS. Okay, let us start with the index. We just see what all we cover in that chapter wala part and what all we'll cover in this Ind AS part now. One more thing, no need to write the things whenever I'm speaking. So no need to have a running notes unless you are habituated. Now sir, should I prepare a summary kind of thing? Actually not required. All important sentences, important words will be highlighted in bold in your material. Plus, I'll also be highlighting it whenever we are doing it. So whatever I highlight, please make sure you are also highlighting. Be very active. You need to have a pen, pencil, scale, or say a marker to mark the things. And whatever I mark, better is you also mark it down. Definitely it will help you. Most of the time I get a question, sir, how do I revise during this last 2 months? Or how do I revise during examination days? See, during last 2-3 months or during examination days, what will come to your rescue is what all you have marked. You can't sit and study the whole book again. But if you have marked out important sentences, important words, important terminologies, that all will be useful. So please make sure you're active. Have a water bottle with you. Your calculator, pen, pencil, scale, everything has to be with you. Okay. Now this is the index. The index given is same as per the ICAI book. Yeah, whatever is there in ICAI book, same it is. Now what we have covered in that chapter part. If you have not done that part, that only FR, only chapters, it's fine. Don't worry at all. Still you will be able to understand this. I'll go from basics. Now chapter number 1, your framework for preparation and presentation of financial statement is already done. Yeah, chapter 2, we have an Ind AS related to presentation. We have an Ind AS related to presentation. Now I have added one extra thing which is not there in ICAI book. I have added this introduction to Ind AS. I've added this introduction to Ind AS. It's not there in ICAI book. You'll not find over there, but we have a small chapter, introduction to Ind AS. Okay, they are Ind AS on presentation. Then we have a Ind AS related to revenue recognition. Ind AS on measurement, value, how to value it, measurement. Presentation is disclosures. Then we have a revenue recognition, measurement, other Ind AS. Then first time adoption. Okay, first time Ind AS became applicable to you. That's first time adoption. Now that we'll do at the end. Once you are clear with all Ind AS, then you understand the first time adoption. Okay, till now we have done chapter 1. Now in this chapter 5, we have done this unit 2. your chapter of share-based payment. So chapter 1 is over. Chapter 5, unit 2 is over. Then we have some Ind AS on assets like inventory, PP, they're all on assets. Investments, so we'll come to that. Ind AS on agriculture. Ind AS on liabilities, that was assets, now liabilities. Ind AS on items impacting the financial statement. Ind AS on disclosure. Financial instrument, this is something new. Accounting and reporting on financial instrument. We'll come to it later. It's just a heading as of now. And from your chapter 13, all things are done. From your chapter number 13, all the things are done. So whatever is written FR book, that I cover in your FR part chapters which I take at Bangalore. So that all are already covered. Now we'll be covering the other things. The chapter 1 is over. Chapter 5, unit 2. Chapter 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 and your division 2 of schedule 3, that is your schedule 3 is completed. Okay, so this much we have already done. Now we are moving on to the Ind AS part, and today I'll start with introduction to Ind AS. I told you I have taken one extra thing, introduction to Ind AS. Okay, let's move ahead. Lots of water keeps you fresh. Every 15-20 minutes, one sip of water. And warm water, more healthy. Definitely in COVID situation, warm water is the most important. Now, every chapter, there is an index given at the top. If you see over here, there's an index given, topics covered. Every chapter, whenever I start with any of the Ind AS, it will have this topics covered and kind of sub-index. We had a chapter-wise index. This is index of this chapter. Now, sir, why this is given? I tell you, you have a subject named as Global Financial Reporting Standard, GFRS, as an elective subject. You have an optional subject, GFRS. Now, GFRS is 80 to 90% same as your FR. Yeah, your GFRS subject, which is elective, 80 to 90%. It's same as FR. 20% there's a difference. We learn in GFRS significant difference between Ind AS and IFRS. Yeah, we learn significant difference between Ind AS and IFRS, and we learn significant difference between IFRS and US GAAP. Now, IFRS is UK based. They are the standards related to, it's UK based. US ke standards are again bit different. Our Ind AS are converged standards of IFRS. They are IFRS based. The difference between Ind AS to IFRS and difference between IFRS to US GAAP, that is what we learn in GFRS. 80 to 90% of that subject is same as FR, and elective subject is open book exam. Yeah, it's an open book exam. So you can carry your books with you, and if you have a good index, you are able to locate the things if required in a easier way. Yeah, always if it's an open book, still you can't see each and everything and write, otherwise your paper will never be complete. So 70-80% you should be able to write on your own. For 10-20% where you're stuck up, this good index will always help you to find it out faster. Now, one more thing you'll notice in indexes, there are few things where I have written IMP. Yeah, IMP is nothing but important. So according to me, the topics written as IMP are the important topics. This is just according to me. It doesn't mean you do only IMPs. Again, it doesn't mean you do only IMP, but they are more important compared to others. We have a good index given at every standard. This will help you to locate the things in a faster manner. Plus, whichever topics I feel are important, question can come, I've written it as IMP. Now, this is just an introduction to what we'll learn. First, how did we have this Ind AS. Why there is a need to have a global standard, globally same standards. See, India, we used to have accounting standards. Now, accounting standard is more historical cost based. In your accounting standard, as per AS 10, your fixed assets appear at their cost. A revaluation can be done. If you want, you can do a revaluation, but most of the things are at historical cost. Ind AS is more based on fair value. I'm just telling it's more based on fair value. Doesn't mean that all things are at fair value. So many things under Ind AS or IFRS internationally, they are fair value based. Ours is kind of historical cost. Imagine a land purchased 10 years back. 10 years back, a land is purchased at 50 lakhs. Today the worth is 2 crores. 10 years back, you purchase a land in outskirts of 50 lakh. In your book, it's still 50 lakh. Still it's 50 lakh. But imagine globally, if fair valuation concept is followed, they fair value it every year. In their books, they will have it at 2 crores. In my books, land is still at 50 lakh. Globally, everybody follows fair valuation. They have it at 2 crore. Now, books aren't comparable. Imagine you bought a land 10 years back. Someone bought a adjoining land today at 2 crore. Someone bought adjoining land today at 2 crore. In your books, cost is 50 lakh. In his books, 2 crores. You compare to balance sheet. Oh, land 50 lakh. Oh, land 2 crore. You'll feel this guy has a bigger land. Yeah, my book land is 50 lakh. His book land is 2 crore. You'll feel he has a bigger land. But that's not the situation. So to make our accounts comparable world over, we need to follow the policies which are being followed all over the world. So accounting should be done in a similar manner all across the world. That was a need of the hour. Now, sir, why there is a need of that? I tell you, now world has become a global market. What is this? World has become a global market. You know, in Reliance Industries Limited, who has invested? Who are the latest investors in Reliance Industries Limited? So many. Reliance Industries Limited actually raised more than 1.5 lakh crores. 1.5 lakh crores. And they're not given a share in the full Reliance. In Reliance Industries, one part is Reliance Digital. In that, people have invested. Facebook has invested. Google has invested. All big investors have invested. Now imagine a global investors are investing. They need our accounts on the same footholds or same policies as is world over. So we wanted accounting to be done in a manner which is similar across the world. So we converged to IFRS. We came out with another set of standards which are known as Ind AS. So why there was a need to have a global standards? Global standards, IFRS. How did it came up? International Financial Reporting Standards. How did they came up? How did we came out with Ind AS? Ind AS is applicable to whom? How net worth is calculated? Yeah, we know Ind AS is applicable to companies having a net worth, not turnover. Net worth 250 crores or more. So how that is calculated? So that all we'll learn in introduction. Let's begin. We start with the first thing. Need for conversions towards global standards. Now there's a need coming up to have a global standards. Now why do we need a global standards? Companies have started raising money from world over. Earlier we used to raise money only from our country. Imagine we come out with an IPO, company is listed in our country, or we take a loan from our banks. Now scenario is totally changed. Many companies are borrowing from international banks. Many companies are listed not only in India, but are also listed in Singapore Stock Exchange, London Stock Exchange. So companies are raising funds across the world. Just now we see it, Reliance. Big investor across the world have invested in Reliance Industries Limited. So companies have started raising the capital from all parts of the world. Your example is Reliance Industries Limited recently raised funds. Yeah, lockdown May they were able to raise 1.5 lakh crores. Everything was locked down. They were able to raise this much money. The share of Reliance during lockdown is increased by more than 120-130%. During lockdown, it went down to around 900 and it became 1900 and now it has become 22-2300. It has doubled. Imagine everything is locked down, they are doubling. They are raising funds world over. Okay. The companies have started raising capital from all parts of the world. Every country has its own rules and regulation for accounting. We are following AS. US people, they have a US GAAP. UK people, they have a IFRS. So many other countries have their own accounting standards. Every country has its own set of rules and regulation. Now, companies have started raising money across the world. So now, international analysts and international investors, they want to see the accounts which are prepared in the same way world over. Yeah, I should not be having accounts prepared in UK are different and accounts prepared in India are different with same set of transaction. Same transaction, UK people come out with other profit, Indian people come out with other profit. That is not the right thing, yeah. Then how can I rely what is correct? Yeah, they follow some other concept, we follow some other concept. So international analysts and investors, they were in need. They want a global standard which are same all across. World has become a global market. That's the need. The international analysts and investors would like to compare financial statements based on similar accounting standards. Similar accounting standards. And harmonization of financial reporting. Harmonization means making it common around the world. This will help to raise confidence of investor, because whenever somebody invests, they will see the balance sheet, they will see the P&L, they will use that information before investing. So if at all, they all are prepared on a common basis world over, if it's kind of same, analysis will become more easier. If someone is analyzing Indian balance sheet, if they feel, oh yeah, historical cost concept, he has to do some adjustments. But if all balance sheets across the world are prepared on a same basis, analysis becomes simpler. This will raise the confidence of investor, because they will feel that information they are getting is proper, they can analyze the risk and take their decision. Having multiple accounting standards is against the public interest. Imagine same transactions in India, profits are different. USK accounting mein profits are different. It creates confusion. You should have a same norms everywhere. The multiple accounting standards across the world is against the public interest. And global standard facilitate cross-border flow of money, global listing. You're listed not only in India, but you're also listed abroad. Like Infosys. Infosys ke ADRs. Now sir, what is this ADRs? ADR, GDR. Heard this word? Economics or somewhere. ADR, GDR. Now what is this ADR? When Indian company wants to raise money from US, America, ADR, American Depository Receipt. When Indian company wants to raise money from US, they cannot issue shares to them. So we issue ADRs. We issue ADRs to the US investors, and ADRs will be then listed in USK stock exchange. So this is Indian company raises money from US by issuing ADRs. We can't issue shares to them. The Indian company, they want money from US people. I issue not shares, I issue ADRs to them, and that ADRs will be listed in US market. So over there they can trade over there in that. That's ADR. GDR is Global Depository Receipt. The Indian company raises money from other than US, anywhere in the world, any country other than US. It's any country other than US by issuing GDRs, Global Depository Receipts. American Depository Receipt, Global Depository Receipt. We're just doing introduction. So first, why do we need a global accounting standards? International analysts, international investors, whenever they want to decide whether to invest or not, they need balance sheet P&L. If all balance sheets P&L are prepared on a similar accounting policies, it will be easier for them. This will facilitate cross-border flow of money. This will facilitate global listing and more better comparability. So now our accounts will be comparable world over. So it is possible there might not be a company which is a competitor of some company in India. They don't have any competitors in India, but there is a similar company abroad. So they can compare their financials with that abroad company as well. Not necessarily you compare with Indian companies only. You can compare your financials world over. These are the benefits. So this is number one, cross-border flow of money. This is number two. And third is comparability of financial statements. Moving ahead. Keep smiling. Make sure you are active. Yeah, this Ind-AS portion is more of theoretical with a practical touch in it. Yeah, sums will come, but very small ones, conceptual, not a big question of 20 mark. We will have questions of 5 marks each. Now, as we understood, we need global standards. How did we have that global standards? London-based group. Yeah, London-based group, they came out with international accounting standard. So to achieve this objective, a London-based group, whose name IASC, International Accounting Standard Committee. So London-based group named as International Accounting Standard Committee was formed. So IASC was established in 1973. Now today, IASC, International Accounting Standard Committee, today it's known as International Accounting Standard Board, IASB. It is presently known as IASB. So with a view to achieve this objective, to have a global standard, London-based group IASC, International Accounting Standard Committee, was established in 1973. Today, it's known as International Accounting Standard Board, IASB. Now, this IASC, there were members from world over. They want global standards now. So they can't have members only of London or UK. They wanted members from world over. So 75 countries are members of IASC, including our ICI. So ICAI is also a member of IASC, which is presently known as International Accounting Standard Board. Now, This IASC was established to formulate international accounting standards, which will be adopted world over. International accounting standards. So during 1973 to 2001, IASC released International Accounting Standards, IAS. So we have an International Accounting Standards released by IASC. IASC is today known as IASB, International Accounting Standard Board. Now, they restructured their organization. Now they are known as IASB. So IASC restructured their organization and now they are known as IASB. Subsequently, see, I've underlined few words which I felt are to be more focused. So this will help you to understand. Subsequently, IASB. So earlier IASC came out with International Accounting Standards. Now IASB came out with some extra standards. See the word extra standards. They came out with extra standards. That extra standards are known as IFRS. So IASB came out with, subsequently IASB issued IFRS. Now I told you these are extra standards. International Accounting Standards issued by IASC. They are already there. Now IASC restructured and they renamed to IASB. IASB comes out with some extra standards called as IFRS. The question, with IFRS coming, whether International Accounting Standards issued by IASC, are they gone? With IFRS being issued, so IASB comes out with IFRS. With IFRS, whether that IAS, International Accounting Standards issued by IASC, are they gone or are they still there? They're still there. So see, however, IASB has not rejected the standards issued by IASC. They continue to be designated as International Accounting Standards. So now, when we use the word IFRS, it includes International Accounting Standards which were issued by IAS. Sorry, not IAS, IASC, International Accounting Standard Committee. So when we say IFRS, IFRS actually includes International Accounting Standards which were issued by IASC, and it includes additional standards named as IFRS issued by IASB. So whenever we use the word IFRS, it includes two things. I'm repeating again. So whenever we use the word IFRS, it includes International Accounting Standards issued by IASC and additional standards, that is IFRS, issued by IASB. Both are included in the term IFRS. So IASB has not rejected the standards issued by IASC. Earlier, they continue to be designated as International Accounting Standards, IAS. Now, so see, what do we mean by the word IFRS? IMP written means important. What is IFRS? The term IFRS comprises IFRS which are issued by IASB and IAS issued by IASC. So earlier it was IASC. IASC came out with International Accounting Standards, IAS. IASC restructured their organization. They changed the name to IASB. IASB came out with some additional standards which are known as IFRS. And IFRS, when we use the word, it includes both. It includes the International Accounting Standards which were issued by IASC and the additional standards issued by IASB. So this was till 2001, and this is after 2001. This is issued till 2001. These are issued after 2001. The term IFRS includes IAS, International Accounting Standards, as well as IFRS. Now, whenever your standards were a bit ambiguous, whenever your standards are a bit ambiguous, we used to have interpretations. So under IAS, there were interpretations. Under IFRS, there were interpretations. When we in India use the word IFRS, it includes the standards and their interpretation. When we use the word IFRS, it includes the standards and interpretations. So this is interpretations, and again this is interpretations. So this was interpretations issued till 2001. This is after 2001. Don't think that IAS and IFRS are different, they are same. IAS, International Accounting Standards, they were issued by IASC. IASC was restructured and made as IASB, and IASB came out with some extra standards which are known as IFRS. So when we use the word IFRS, it includes IAS, IFRS, and both the interpretations of it. Now, this IFRS are principle based. Now, this is UK wale thing, London based group. UK ke standards are principle based. US standards are rule based. Now, what is rule based? What is principle based? Principle based means they give you a guiding principle. So they give you a broad principle. You apply the principle based on facts and circumstances. So you have to apply the principle based on facts and circumstances. So your IFRS are principle based. They just give you a broader rules rather than specific treatment. I just give you a broad principles. I will highlight the principles. You apply it based on facts and circumstances. The simplest example. Now, when do I say this company is our subsidiary? When do I say that this is my subsidiary? Sir, when we have a control. Okay. So when we have a control, we say it's a subsidiary. A question, when do I say I have a control? When do I say I have a control? Sir, when we hold more than 50% of voting power. If I hold more than 50% voting power, I have a control. Now, Ind AS, or basically your IFRS, Ind AS are based on IFRS. Your IFRS says it's not necessary to hold 50%. You can have a control with less than 50% holding also. Imagine, you are holding say 45% shares. You don't hold 50, you hold 45. Now others are all very small shareholders. Others are very small shareholders. They will not come and attend the meeting. We all are very small shareholders. We generally don't go and attend the meeting. We don't participate in decision making process. We are a shareholder. We have a right to attend the meeting, but we don't go. We don't go to AGM. We don't go to general meetings. We won't go. Even nowadays we have a e-voting. E-voting also, small shareholders don't participate. Imagine you hold 45%. Others are all very small shareholders. They don't take part in decision making process. The total shareholders who participate in decision making process are 70 to 75%. Now, total shareholders who participate in decision making process are 70 to 75. In that 75%, you hold 45. In that 75%, you hold 45. If you hold 45 out of 75, you can take the decision which you want. Yeah. So imagine with 45%, you will be able to take the decision which you want every time. Others are small shareholders, they're not coming and participating. So Ind AS 110 or basically your IFRS 10, they don't tell that you should hold 50%. Even with less than 50% holding, there can be a control. You should have a power over investee. The word they've used is, you should have power. And power doesn't come by holding 50% only. Even with less than 50%, you might be able to have a power. You might be able to take decisions which you want. If you are able to take decisions which you want unilaterally, if you are able to take decisions which you want unilaterally without anyone's help, you can do on your own. That's, you have a power. So you should have a power over investee. So they don't say hold 50%. So even with 45%, you might be having a control. So US GAAP is rule based. UK IFRS, they are principle based, and Ind AS are based on IFRS. And every major nation is moving towards adopting IFRS. Now I tell you, in US, companies are required to follow US GAAP, but if some company is a listed company, and say for example, outside company wants to get listed in US, outside company, which is not a US company, it's outside company, they want to get listed in US, they can submit the financials prepared as per IFRS. US wali company will follow US GAAP. But outside company, if they want to get listed in US, outside company, if they want to get listed in US, they allow that company to submit the financials in IFRS. And it's possible over a period of time, we'll have all over the world similar. IFRS, more than 75 nations, they are the member, they all will be trying to have similar standards. But there are still few countries which have their own standards separate. US is a bit different, but they have started accepting for outside companies. Slowly and gradually they will also change a bit. Okay, so we have this IFRS coming as a kind of a global standards, and every major nation is moving towards adopting it to some extent. Now, sir, our Ind AS are based on IFRS. So how do we become IFRS compliant? How a country can become IFRS compliant? One option, you directly follow IFRS. Whatever is given in IFRS, same applies here. So we don't have our standards, we have only IFRS. We don't have our standards, we have only IFRS. That is, we adopt IFRS. Adopt kar lo. Second option, you don't adopt. You come out with your own set of standards which are based on IFRS, but in some places you can make changes depending on scenarios which are there in your country compared to UK. So one is you adopt IFRS. Whatever is IFRS, we don't have our standards, we follow IFRS. Finished. Second, you converge. You come out with your standards which are based on IFRS. It will be 99% same. Yeah, 1%. We might have done a modification to fit our scenario. Some things which are there in India, the economic environment, may not be there in UK. So their scenario, our scenario might be a bit different. So some changes we might do. The one option, directly follow IFRS, don't have your standards. That is adoption. Convergence is, you come out with your set of standards which are based on IFRS. Minor modifications might be done to fit to your economic environment. Now tell me what India has done. Either we can have adoption or we can have conversion. So what we have done? Have we adopted IFRS or have we converged to IFRS? Have we adopted IFRS or have we converged to IFRS? What did we do? So did we drop our standards and only have IFRS, or we built our own standards? Sir, we built our own standards which are based on IFRS. So we have converged. We have not adopted, converged. Okay, so over here, Ind AS are almost similar to IFRS with few carve-outs, means changes. We've done few changes to make them suitable for our environment. So India has followed not adoption process, convergence process. So yes, there was a need for a global standards. For this, IASC, International Accounting Standard Committee, was established. They came out with international accounting standards. Every major nation is moving towards IFRS. And how can a country become IFRS compliant? Either you adopt directly the IFRS, you don't have your standards, only the IFRS, or you converge to it. You come out with your set of standards which are based on IFRS, but a few changes you make to make it suitable to your economic environment. Clear with this? Okay, India has converged to IFRS. They have not adopted, converged. Now, what are Ind AS? What are Ind AS? That's already written. I still write it. Every place what is important, it's already written, and I tell you, this material is drafted very well. It takes a lot of time in making the material, and all exercise we have done. We've seen the ICI book fully. We have seen RTPs, we have seen suggested answers, mock papers, other reference books, and then came out with this. This is actually a best version available to you. Please make sure you do our material. Don't run over other materials. This is sufficient. Don't run over the other materials here and there. One material you should have which is kind of proper, so that you know from where to read at the end. And yeah, highlighting is very important. You can read the full book once. You can't read full book 2-3 times. Full book you can read once. Afterwards, the highlighted things you'll be able to read 2-3 times. Now, what are Ind AS? So, Ind AS are IFRS converge standard. IFRS converge means based on IFRS. So, they are IFRS converge standard issued by Government of India. Issued by Government of India. Yeah, not ICAI. Issued by Government of India under the supervision and control of ASB of ICAI. So supervision and control of ICAI is there. Then they will consult NAFRA, National Financial Reporting Authority. National Financial Reporting Authority. So we have an accounting standard board. Like internationally is International Accounting Standard Board. Internationally, IASB, they came out with IFRS. We have ASB. I nikal do. Remove I. So we have accounting standard board. They will develop Ind AS. Then they will hand it over to government. Government will consult NAFRA. So we make Ind AS. ICAI makes Ind AS. ASB is under ICAI. So ASB will make the Ind AS, will hand over to government. Government will consult NAFRA, then issue it. NAFRA is National Financial Reporting Authority, and then they will issue it. Ind AS are named and numbered in the same way. Ind AS are named and numbered in the same way as IFRS. Same ditto. Same numbering is there. If there was now, IFRS is not only IFRS. IFRS includes International Accounting Standard, IAS. So earlier there was IASC, they came out with IAS. Then there is IASB, they came out with IFRS. The term IFRS includes both IFRS and IAS. Now internationally we have IAS 1 to 41. Internationally we have IAS 1 to 41. We have ditto same Ind AS 1 to 41. So IAS 1 to 41 are Ind AS 1 to 41. And internationally, additional standards were issued after 2001. They were known as internationally additional standards were issued after 2001. They were known as IFRS. Now IFRS are 1 to 16. IFRS 17 is under development. IFRS 1 to 16 are there. Here, I can't have it Ind AS 1 to 16. It will conflict. So we already have Ind AS 1 to 41, which were IAS 1 to 41. IAS 1 to 41 are Ind AS 1 to 41. So sir, IFRS 1 to 16, what do I do? I have named it as Ind AS 101 to 116. So IFRS 1 to 16 are nothing but Ind AS 101 to 116. So word IFRS includes IFRS and IAS. We have same numbering kept. So whatever is IAS 1, same is Ind AS 1. Whatever is IAS 2, say IAS 2 is inventory. So if IAS 2 is inventory, Ind AS 2 is also inventory. The same. So whatever is IAS 1 to 41, we have Ind AS 1 to 41. After 2001, they came out with extra standards called IFRS. IFRS 1 to 16, Ind AS 101 to 116. Now we don't have interpretations. Now remember the word IFRS includes. The word IFRS includes IFRS, IAS, interpretations issued by both. Now we don't have interpretations. India mein we don't have interpretation. Reason, interpretations have been given as an appendix to the standard. We don't have interpretation. Interpretations has been given as an appendix to the standard. If I just go down, it's written IAS or IFRS interpretations are not there in Ind AS as they are covered as an appendix under the relevant Ind AS. Okay, so IFRS included IFRS, IAS and both the interpretations. Now, IFRS 1 to 16 is Ind AS 101 to 116. IAS 1 to 41 is Ind AS 1 to 41. Interpretations we don't have. Reason, they are shown as an appendix with the relevant Ind AS. Next, what are carve out and carve in? Now two words, carve out, carve in. So what do I mean by the word carve out and carve in? Under your Ind AS. Now Ind AS are based on IFRS. Ind AS are based on IFRS, but we have done bit of modification. We have done bit of modification to make it to our economic environment, to Indian economic environment. We have done bit modification. So whenever we make some changes, to whatever is given in IFRS, something given in IFRS, we changed it. That's carve out. Something given in IFRS, we changed it. That's carve out. We added something. Something is not there in IFRS. It's not there in IFRS. We added new thing. It's carve in. We added, no? Okay, there's something there in IFRS. We changed it. It's there in IFRS. We changed it. Carve out. Something which is not there in IFRS, we included it. We added it under Ind AS. So that's carve in. Okay, so now we have not adopted to IFRS. We have converged to IFRS. Means we came out with our set of standards based on IFRS. Now, as we are converging, we have made bit of changes that are carve outs and carve ins. Okay, so while formulating IFRS converged Ind AS, efforts have been made to keep the standards in line with corresponding IAS and IFRS, and departures have been made only when it was essential. So we have changed it only when it's absolutely essential. Now what changes we have done? Some terminologies which we have changed. What are the changes? Some terminologies. Now terminologies we changed. Now sir, what is terminology changes? India mein we call balance sheet, a statement which has your assets and liabilities, we call it balance sheet. Internationally they call it a statement of financial position. Now they call it statement of financial position, we call it balance sheet. So terminology changes are done. So various terminology related changes have been done. Example is, we have a statement of P&L, they have the word statement of comprehensive income. We have a balance sheet in place of statement of financial position. Example, we have balance sheet in place of statement of financial position. Second, some options are removed. Like IFRS gives two options. Like IFRS is giving some two options. Ind AS mein we have only one. We don't have the two. One of the option is removed. Now, some terminology changes are done. Options are removed. IFRS might give two options. Ind AS mein we don't have, suppose at some place. Suppose we don't have, we have removed one of the option. That change we have done. Now that is not carve out. Options removed is not carve out because still other thing which is remaining is same as IFRS. So IFRS mein you had two options, either this or this. Ind AS mein we have only one, but it's same as IFRS. तो उसको carve out नहीं बोलेंगे. They are not carve out, they are not carve in, nothing. They are just minor changes. But a removal of option will not result into carve out. But certain changes have been made seeing our economic environment. Certain changes have been made considering the economic environment of the country, which is different, and that changes are known as carve out. That changes are known as carve out. Sir, example you will understand later. See, we are just understanding basics. We have not started with any of the Ind AS. We are just doing basics, introduction to Ind AS. You will understand the carve outs. Wherever carve outs, carve ins are there, I have covered it. Our material does not cover only Ind AS. It also covers carve outs, carve in, whichever are there compared to IFRS. Okay, so one, we have done some terminology changes. That's fine. Some places IFRS had an option. We have removed the option. We have given only one thing. But that is not carve out. Some places we have done a total change. IFRS says something. We say no, don't do that. Do this. We have done a total change. They say something. We say something. So that is carve out. We have not adopted what is given over there. We came out with something new. We changed it. That's carve out. Now, additional guidance given. Additional guidance given over and above what is given in IFRS. Additional, something which is not there in IFRS, we introduced. Something which is not there in IFRS, we introduced, that's carve in. Something which is there in IFRS, we changed it, that's carve out. Something not there, we add it, carve in. Okay, now example of carve in is given. Now I've taken this example because we have already done Ind AS 103 business combination in the chapter of business combination. If suppose you have not done that chapters, it's okay. Now, under your chapter of business combination, how to account for entities which were under common control. Entities which were under common control. A Limited has two subsidiaries, B and C. A Limited has two subsidiaries B and C. So B and C both are under the control of A. B and C both are under control of A, so they are said to be entities under common control. Now, if B takes over C, how to account for that business combination for entities under common control? We have a separate appendix C given under Ind AS 103. How to account for business combination of entities under common control? There was A has two subsidiary B and C. Now B takes over C. So there is a business combination of entities which are under common control. How to account for that? We have under Ind AS 103 appendix C. Separate appendix is given. Now such a thing is not there in IFRS. The IFRS doesn't have anything related to how to account for business combination of entities under common control. They don't have it separately. They have nothing for business combination relating to entities under common control. We have added it. So that's carved in. Something which is not there in IFRS, we include it. That's carved in. Something which is there in IFRS, we modified it. That's carved out. Okay, so we have not adopted IFRS. We have converged to IFRS. We have made bit changes. So we have some carve outs, carve in. Now the roadmap to implementation is the most important. Roadmap for implementation of Ind AS. Roadmap for implementation of Ind AS. Now, how Ind AS is implemented in our country? For companies other than NBFCs, bank, insurance companies, for normal companies, phase 1, it was actually in phases. Phase 1, from 1/4/15 or thereafter, any company can voluntarily adopt Ind AS. So 1/4/15 onwards, anybody, any company, see the word company, it's only companies. Ind AS are for companies. We have companies Indian Accounting Standard Rules 2015. This is under Companies Act. Companies bracket Indian Accounting Standard bracket close Rules 2015. So this is for companies. For companies other than banks, NBFCs, insurance company, 1st April 15 or thereafter, any company can adopt Ind AS voluntarily. 1/4/16 onwards, it becomes mandatory for few. Okay, 1/4/16 onwards, companies which are listed having net worth 500 crores or more. The listed company having net worth 500 crores or more, unlisted company having net worth 500 crore or more. So, in simple words, listed or unlisted having net worth 500 crore or more. Listed or unlisted having net worth 500 crore or more, for them it's mandatory to apply Ind AS from 1/4/16. And parent, subsidiary, associate, joint ventures of above. Now see the word of above is very important. Parent, subsidiary, associate, joint venture of above. Parent, who controls us? Someone who controls us. Parent, they control us. Subsidiary, we control. Associate, we have significant influence. We can't control, but we have a significant influence. We have a power to participate in decision making process. So Parent, they control us. Someone who controls us, that's our parent. Subsidiary, entity which we control. Entity which we control. That's a subsidiary. Associate, entity where we don't have a control. Control is when you can unilaterally take decisions. You can take decisions whatever you want, others cannot stop you. So that's control. Associate is where we have a significant influence. We can't control, but we have a power to participate in decision making process. And joint venture, we have a joint control. We have joint control. Yeah, so we don't have control individually, but are jointly with someone. That's joint venture. Okay, so phase 1, voluntarily any company can adopt from 1/4/15 onwards. From 1/4/16 onwards, Ind AS are mandatory for listed or unlisted having listed or unlisted companies having net worth, not turnover, net worth 500 crores or more. So listed or unlisted having net worth 500 crore or more, and parent, subsidiary, associate, joint venture of above companies. The companies covered above. Okay, so companies which are listed or unlisted having net worth 500 crores or more, to them it was applicable from 1/4/16 onwards, and the company which is covered above, unke parent, subsidiary, associate, joint ventures. Okay, so parent, subsidiary, associate, joint venture of above. I'll come to this word. I'll come back to the word above again. Now phase 2. Phase 1 was this. Phase 2. 1/4/17 onwards. 1/4/17 onwards, now it's mandatory for all listed company. All listed company. All listed. Or which are in process of listing. All listed or which are in process of listing, to them it applies irrespective of net worth. Irrespective of net worth. The net worth is 1 rupee, still if you are listed, to you it applies. So 1/4/17 onwards, all listed companies. 1/4/17 onwards, all listed companies, and unlisted company having a net worth 250 crores or more. So in simple words, today, if I just say today is year 2020, 2021. So today, it is applicable to all listed companies, unlisted company having a net worth 250 crores or more, and parent, subsidiary, associate, joint ventures of above. So all listed, unlisted having a net worth 250 crores or more, unlisted having a net worth 250 crores or more, or the listed one, unka parent, subsidiary, associate, joint venture. Okay, parent, subsidiary, associate, joint venture of above. Fine. Now important notes. This is very important. Companies not covered above. So see, as of today, all listed companies, unlisted having a net worth 250 crores or more, and their parent, their subsidiary, associate, joint venture. If you are not covered above, you continue following the regular accounting standards which we have. That is Companies Accounting Standard Rules 2006. Yeah, we have Companies Accounting Standard Rules 2006. Companies Indian Accounting Standard Rules 2015. You don't have to follow Ind AS. You have to follow Accounting Standard Rules 2006. That's a normal accounting standards. The companies not covered above shall continue to apply the existing accounting standard. This means both AS and Ind AS are there. For companies having a net worth less than 250 crore, unlisted companies having net worth less than 250 crores, they will follow AS. Listed companies or unlisted having a net worth 250 or more, they will follow Ind AS. So not covered above will continue to follow the existing accounting standards. Both AS and Ind AS are there and it will remain. Don't think Ind AS came, AS will go away. Never. That's why in intermediate you studied AS. In final you are studying Ind AS. Both you are studying. Next, companies cannot apply Ind AS partly, AS partly. So partly I follow Ind AS, partly I follow AS. Some items by Ind AS, some item by AS. No, you cannot follow partly. Companies listed on SME exchange, small and medium enterprise. SME is small and medium enterprise. If you are listed on SME exchange, then to you Ind AS doesn't apply. Unless your net worth unlisted में मतलब वो 250 crores or more net worth है, it's a different issue. Otherwise, SME, and SME में you will be there only when your net worth is low, small and medium. So companies listed on SME exchange, small and medium enterprise exchange. Now sir, what is SME exchange? Have you heard the word Bombay Stock Exchange? BSE? Yeah, Bombay Stock Exchange. Now I tell you, under your BSE, we have a BSE ka main exchange and we have a BSE SME exchange. So BSE mein there are part BME, BSE, SME exchange and the normal BSE. The normal BSE mein if you are listed, pakka Ind AS applies. All listed company Ind AS apply. But if you are listed on BSE SME exchange, then to you Ind AS doesn't apply. SME exchange are started so that small companies or small and medium companies, they can also raise money from public. So BSE SME exchange was started where small companies can get listed, easy procedures, lesser formalities, and they will be also able to raise money from public with the lesser formalities. But if you are listed on BSE SME exchange, for you Ind AS doesn't apply because you are small and medium. Okay. Ind AS will apply for your standalone financial. Now we don't call it as standalone. We call it as individual financial or a separate financial statement as well as consolidated financial. It's applicable to your standalone as well as consolidated financials both. Whenever you are preparing financial statements by Ind AS, you have to give comparative information. Previous year's figures. Comparative. That is previous year's figures for minimum 1 year. That is previous year's figures. Minimum 1 year you have to give the previous year's figure. Okay, so now pay attention. You have to give previous year figure, and the previous year figure should also be as per Ind AS. Yeah, you have to give previous year's figure. Previous year's figure should also be as per Ind AS. Now pay attention. So if suppose you are covered in phase 1, your net worth is more than 500 crores. If your net worth is more than 500 crores, you are covered in phase 1. For you, Ind AS starts applying from net worth more than 500 crores. You're covered in phase 1. Ind AS will apply from 1/4/16. Correct. Can I say 16/17? Now Ind AS will apply from 1/4/16, 16/17. When you prepare 16/17's balance sheet, you have to give previous year's figure. So when you're preparing 31st March 17 ka balance sheet, 31st March 16 balance sheet is required. When you're preparing P&L, you are preparing P&L for the year 16/17. 1/4/16 Ind AS started. 16/17 previous figures are 15/16. They should also be as per Ind AS. So in simple words, if you are covered in phase 1, they say you apply Ind AS from 1/4/16. but our previous year figure also needs to be as per Ind AS. Indirectly, you have to apply from 1/4/15. Check. Okay, so for example, ये example मिला, just see this. A company covered under mandatory phase from 1/4/16. Then comparatives for year ended on 31st March 16 should also be as per Ind AS. So effectively, your date of transition, from when did you shift? I am covered in phase 1, it starts applying from 1/4/16, but I have to give previous year's figure. Previous year's figure should also be as per Ind AS. So I have to actually apply it from 1/4/15 onwards. I hope you are clear. 1/4/16 से start करना है, तो 16-17 is the year. 16-17 is the year. Now PNL of 16-17, previous year will be 15-16. Previous year's figures also should be as per Ind AS. So now I effectively start applying it from 1/4/15. Okay, we'll come back to this point later. In case doubt remain, it's fine. Don't worry, we'll come back to this point again later. Now, once Ind AS is applied, once Ind AS is become applicable to you, you started following Ind AS, you have to mandatorily follow Ind AS for lifetime. Once applicable for lifetime. Now sir, ये क्या है? Once applicable for lifetime. I tell you simple. Imagine your net worth exceeded 250 crores. Your net worth exceeded 250 crores. Ind AS started applying. After 2 years, business is down, you suffered loss. After 2 years, business is down, you suffered loss. Now net worth is less than 250 crore. So earlier net worth was more than 250 crore. You started following Ind AS. Now business is down, you're suffering losses, net worth is less than 250 crores. Do you still need to follow Ind AS? Yes. Once applicable for lifetime. You cannot go back to AS. Okay, the Ind AS once applicable will be applicable for lifetime even if you followed it voluntarily. Remember 1/4/15 onwards, any company can follow it voluntarily. If you started applying Ind AS voluntarily, still you need to follow it continuously for lifetime. You cannot go back. Once Ind AS is applicable, it's applicable for lifetime. Next, if the company fulfills listing or net worth criteria, okay, it's applicable to all listed companies. Companies having a net worth 250 crores or more, 250 crore or more. It is 250 or more. It's greater than equal to 250 crore. I just write down over here. Greater than equal to 250. It's 250 or more, 500 or more. Everywhere it's like this. It's greater than equal to 500. Okay, so as of today, it's applicable to all listed company. Unlisted having a net worth 250 crore or more. All listed, unlisted having a net worth 250 crore or more. Okay, so if you fulfill listing criteria or net worth criteria, if you fulfill listing criteria and net worth criteria, it's not applicable only to you. So if you fulfill any company which fulfills listing criteria or net worth criteria, Ind AS is applicable not only to that company but also its subsidiary, its parent, its associate, its joint venture. So if applicable to you, no, actually not if applicable to you, if a company fulfills listing or net worth criteria, if you fulfill listing or net worth criteria, it also applies to its, now again its का meaning है, I'll come back, parent, subsidiary, associate, joint venture. Parent, subsidiary, associate, joint venture. Now let's take an example over here. no need to write, it's already there in your book later. It's already there in your book later. I'll come back. Okay, let me just take an example, a small one over here. Say there is a company named as A Limited. Now A Limited has two subsidiaries. A Limited has two subsidiaries. Don't write, we have similar example given later. B, C. Okay. Now B has two subsidiaries. X, Y. A Limited has two subsidiaries B and C. B has two subsidiaries X and Y. X has a subsidiary. X has a subsidiary. Say for example Z Limited. X has a subsidiary Z Limited, and Y has a associate. This is subsidiary, all others were subsidiary, and Y has a associate ZA Limited. ZA Limited is not a subsidiary, it's an associate. And let me have two more subsidiaries of C. Two more subsidiaries of C. M Limited, N Limited. Okay, pay attention. This is a structure. This is the structure. There is A Limited. A has two subsidiaries B and C. Similar example is there in your book. Don't copy, just pay attention. Understanding is more important. Everything is given in your material properly. Just that extra example is taken, I've kept over here. So we have two subsidiaries of A, B and C. B has two subsidiaries X, Y, and C has two subsidiaries M, N. And now we have X has a subsidiary Z, Y has an associate ZA. Now imagine A Limited is listed. A Limited is listed. Okay, if A Limited is listed, to whom Ind AS will be applicable out of all? If A Limited is listed, to whom Ind AS will be applicable out of all? If you are listed, Ind AS applies to you. Okay, A is listed, Ind AS is applicable to A. Okay, if you are listed, it applies to you and your parent, your subsidiary, your associate, your joint venture. See the word. Its parent, its subsidiary, its associate, its joint venture. A is listed. Okay, so it applies to A. Who is A's parent? No one. A खुद parent है. So there is nobody above. So it applies to you. Your parent, we don't have A's parent. Okay, who are subsidiaries of A? Who are subsidiaries of A? B, C. Who are subsidiaries of A? B, C. Now subsidiary is also your subsidiary. Subsidiary's subsidiary is also your subsidiary. Okay, that applies to A. A is listed. It applies to A. A is listed. It applies to A. A ka parent, nobody is there. A subsidiary, B and C. Now subsidiary is also my subsidiary. So now it will apply to, let me just make like this. It will be more simple. B has two things. This is subsidiary. Okay. A bit simpler one. Don't write, just pay attention. Subsidiary, this is say associate. This is say subsidiary and this is say joint venture. It covers everything. Okay, the A is listed, it applies to A. Now A's parent, we don't have. A's subsidiary, B and C. Now subsidiary is also my subsidiary, it applies to them as well. So it will apply to X, subsidiary of B. Subsidiary is my subsidiary. It will apply to M. Subsidiary is my subsidiary. Now question, would it apply to Y limited, N limited? Would it apply to Y limited, N limited? That's a question. Would it apply to Y limited and N limited? Now, A is listed, it applies to A. A's parent, no one. A's subsidiary, B and C. A's associate. Now, Y limited is associate of B, not A. It's not your associate, it's your subsidiary's associate. It is not your associate, it's your subsidiary's associate. Subsidiary is your subsidiary. Subsidiary's associate is not your associate. Subsidiary is your subsidiary. That's called indirect control. But subsidiary's associate, it's not your associate. Okay, so when it applies to you, it applies to your parent, your subsidiary, your associate, your joint venture. Your associate, your joint venture. But subsidiary ka subsidiary is your subsidiary. That's indirect control. So that is covered. But subsidiary's associate. The subsidiary is covered, but subsidiary's associate, subsidiary ka joint venture is not covered. Only your joint venture, your associate. The word was its, or the word was of above. Parent, subsidiary, associate, joint venture, of above. So A is listed, A is covered in criteria. A ka parent covered, A's subsidiary, A's associate, A's joint venture. So A ka subsidiary, A's parent, as associate, A's joint venture. And your subsidiary is your subsidiary, it is covered, but our subsidiary's associate is not covered. Or associate ka associate, that is not covered. So it will not apply to Y and N. They are not your associates and joint venture, they are your subsidiaries, associate and joint venture. They are not your associates and joint venture, they are your subsidiaries, associate and joint venture. Now same example, bit modification. Same example, just a bit modification. Pay attention. A limited. Now instead of two subsidiaries, it has one subsidiary B. And it has C, which is a joint venture. B has two subsidiaries, not two subsidiaries, one subsidiary and one associate. X limited is a subsidiary and Y limited is associate. Just pay attention. All questions are there in your book. No need to write. Just understand. M is a subsidiary of C. N is joint venture of C. Now let us understand to whom it applies. Only difference is here B and C both were subsidiary. Now B is subsidiary, C is a joint venture. Okay, who is listed? A. Who is listed is A. A is listed, it applies to A. Okay, A is listed, it applies to A. A is listed, it will apply to A. Now, if it applies to you, your parent. Who is A's parent? No one. A's subsidiary. A's subsidiary is B. C is not A's subsidiary. A's subsidiary. A's subsidiary. Subsidiary is also my subsidiary. subsidiary is also my subsidiary X. Okay, so A is listed, to A it applies. If it applies to you, your parent, there's no one, your subsidiary B. Okay, now your associate, why is not your associate, why is your subsidiary's associate not covered? Subsidiary is covered, subsidiary ka associate is not covered. Okay, so if it applies to A ka parent, no one, A's subsidiary B, A's associate, no one, A's joint venture. Okay, who is A's joint venture? C. A ka joint venture C, so it applies to C. Now it applies to C, not C's subsidiary and C's joint venture. It applies to your joint venture. Joint venture's subsidiary is not there. Joint venture's subsidiary is not there. So subsidiary is covered. Subsidiary indirect control. Subsidiaries associate, subsidiaries joint venture, they are not covered. And associate ka subsidiary, my associate covered, A's associate covered, A's joint venture covered. Now associate ka subsidiary, they are not covered. So in this both are not covered. So M is not my subsidiary. A covered, A's subsidiary covered, A's associate covered, A's joint venture covered. Now A's joint venture's subsidiary is not covered. A's joint venture C's subsidiary is not covered. So its word of above is important. If it applies to you, it applies to your parent, your subsidiary, your associate, your joint venture. And subsidiary is your subsidiary, it applies to that also. I hope you are clear. So in above case, C was your subsidiary M, so it applies to M. But in below case, so above case mein, in this above case, C was your subsidiary, the subsidiary M, it applies to M. But in this below case, C is your joint venture, so it applies to A, it applies to A's joint venture. It doesn't apply to joint venture's subsidiary. It applies to your subsidiary, your associate, your joint venture. It doesn't apply to associate ka subsidiary or associate ka associate. No, it's like this. Okay, let's go back. All questions are covered, don't worry. As subsidiary is also our subsidiary, Ind AS will apply to subsidiary. Subsidiary is also our subsidiary, it applies to them. Ind AS will not apply to associate or joint ventures. Associate or joint venture of. It will not apply to associate or joint venture of subsidiary, associate or joint venture. So subsidiaries associate, no. Our associate, yes. If it applies to you, it applies to your associate, not your subsidiary's associate. It applies to you, your associate, not your subsidiary's associate. It will not apply to associate and joint venture of kiska? Of the subsidiary's associate and joint venture. It applies to you, it applies to your subsidiary, your associate, joint venture, not their associates and their joint ventures. Not their associates and not their joint ventures. Okay, I hope this is clear. The word of above. So you are listed or you are crossing the net worth limit. That applies to you, your parent, your subsidiary, your associate, your joint venture. And subsidiary is your subsidiary, it's covered. So your parent, your subsidiary, your associate, your joint venture. Not your joint ventures, yeah, not your joint ventures associate, yeah, not your joint ventures subsidiary. They are not covered. Next. Imagine I have a subsidiary, but subsidiary is abroad. A Limited is in India. It's a listed. A Limited is listed, subsidiary B is abroad. Okay, so this is the question like this. So over here we have A Limited, it's listed and they are in India. They have a subsidiary. They have a subsidiary B Limited, subsidiary. Now problem is subsidiary is in US. The question, you are listed. If you are listed, NDS applies to you, your parent, your subsidiary. Okay, my subsidiary is B. Question, whether NDS will apply to B also. A Limited is listed, so you are falling under NDS. If it applies to you, it applies to your parent, your associate, your subsidiary. Your subsidiary is B. Would it apply to B also? B is in US. Okay, if I have an overseas subsidiary, these are called overseas, foreign. If I have a foreign subsidiary or a foreign associate or a foreign joint venture, they can continue preparing their accounts as per their law. They can continue preparing their accounts as per their law. But when I prepare my CFS, consolidated financial, A Limited is the holding company. So I have to prepare consolidated financials together with my subsidiary. Okay, so B is in US. They can follow rules and regulations of US. They can follow accounting standards of US. Fine. But when I have to prepare CFS, I have to add B's figures. The figures which I add has to be as per Ind AS. So when I prepare CFS, I have to add B's figure. B's figure which I add has to be as per CFS, means B will be required to prepare financial statement 2 times. One as per US laws to submit over there. So B will prepare financial statement as per US laws to submit over there, and they will also prepare financial statement as per Ind AS, which will be helpful to me for consolidation. So B can prepare their accounts as per US GAAP, which is as per their country, but when A is preparing CFS, BK figures which are added has to be as per Ind AS. So B has to prepare one more set of financial which will help me in preparing consolidated financials. Check what is written. Overseas subsidiary associate joint venture. Overseas subsidiary associate joint venture can prepare its financial statement in accordance with requirement of specific jurisdiction. They can prepare financial as per their jurisdiction. The Indian parent will be required to prepare CFS as per Ind AS. The Indian parent will be required to prepare consolidated financial statement as per what? Ind AS only. And the figures of subsidiary has to be as per Ind AS. The figures of subsidiary has to be as per Ind AS. So indirectly, the subsidiary will be required to prepare 2 sets of financial statement. The subsidiary will be required to prepare 2 sets of financial statement, one as per their country's law, and they'll prepare one more as per Ind AS, which will help us in consolidation. This whole point was important. And this is, I just add for CFS, subsidiaries figures should be as per Ind AS. Subsidiaries figures should be as per Ind AS. I just put a star and write at the top. Subsidiaries figures should be as per Ind AS. Okay, now your parent is abroad, subsidiary is in India. Okay, this was parent in India, subsidiary abroad. This was parent in India, subsidiary abroad. Now parent is outside India, subsidiary is in India. Okay, so we have AINC, which is parent, which is in US, and we have B Limited, which is subsidiary, which is in India, and iska net worth is greater than 250 crores. Okay, subsidiary is in India, the net worth of subsidiary is greater than 250 crore. Okay, subsidiary is in India, subsidiary's net worth is greater than 250 crore. Question: B Limited is in India, they have a net worth more than 250 crore. Are they required to prepare financial as per Ind AS? B Limited is in India, they have a net worth more than 250 crore. Are they required to prepare financials as per Ind AS? Yes. Okay, so B Limited has a net worth more than 250 crore. B is required to prepare financial as per Ind AS. Now question: whether A Limited, AINC, whether AINC, whether they have to prepare financial as per Ind AS? They are in US. Whether they have to prepare financial as per Ind AS. Now if you are covered, now B Limited is covered. So if B is covered, your parent, who is parent of B? Your parent is also covered. Who is your parent? A. So AINC is also covered. But AINC is in US. As they are in US, to them, companies Indian Accounting Standard Rules 2005 doesn't apply. So as they are in US, companies Indian Accounting Standard Rules 2005 doesn't apply. So they are not required to prepare financial as per Ind AS. So B has a net worth more than 250 crore. They are in India. B will follow Ind AS. But uska parent who is abroad, they need not follow Ind AS, because to them, companies Indian Accounting Standard Rules 2015 does not apply. Okay, so it will not apply to the parent. The Indian subsidiaries, associate, joint venture of foreign parent will be required to prepare financial statement as per Ind AS if Ind AS is applicable to it. However, Ind AS will not apply to such foreign parent. Ind AS will not apply to foreign parent. Foreign parent ko Ind AS will not apply. Okay, and I tell you one more thing. Net worth of foreign parent should not be seen. You see net worth of B. Don't see the net worth of parent. The net worth of that parent should not be seen. You see your net worth. B ka net worth more than 250 crore applies to B. If it applies to you, it applies to your parent, subsidiary, associate, joint venture. But if parent is abroad, then it will not apply to them. Okay. This is for your normal companies. We just take for this banks, insurance, NBFCs. We just take that and then we take a break. Yes, 10 minutes break and then we'll meet again. 10 minutes means 10 minutes. I know you are at your home, but please make sure 10 minutes is 10 minutes. Okay, for scheduled commercial bank, excluding RRB. RRB is regional rural bank. So regional rural bank Ind AS will not be applicable. This is regional rural banks. They are in rural areas. So scheduled commercial banks. Scheduled commercial is all your normal banks. HDFC Bank, ICICI Bank, Bank of Baroda, State Bank of India, State Bank of Travancore, whatever banks, Karnataka Bank, whichever you know, they're all scheduled commercial bank. So cooperative banks, most of the cooperative banks are also scheduled commercial bank. Okay. So And actually cooperative banks are formed under Cooperative Societies Act. They are not a company. They are not a company. Okay, the scheduled commercial banks, insurance companies, NBFCs. Okay, first we did for a normal companies. This is for bank, insurance companies, NBFC. Now, this is only for NBFC. This is only for NBFC. For banks and insurance companies, the applicability of Ind AS has been deferred. It was actually this for all, but RBI has deferred for bank. IRDA has deferred it for insurance company. So for bank and insurance company, it's actually deferred. Date is not yet decided. So it's only for NBFC currently. From 1/4/18 onwards, from 1/4/18 onwards, we have NBFCs, whether listed or unlisted, having a net worth 500 crores or more. So it's listed or unlisted, having a net worth 500 crores or more. For them, it's 1/4/18 onwards. And parent, subsidiary, associate, joint venture of above. Okay, I hope you understood the meaning of the word above. If it applies to you, your parent, your subsidiary, your associate, your joint venture, not subsidiaries associate. It's your associate, not associate ka associate, only your associate. Subsidiary will be covered. 1/4/19 onwards, all listed NBFC, unlisted having a net worth 250 crores or more, and parent, subsidiary, associate, joint ventures of above. It's similar, but our dates are not 1/4/16 and 1/4/17. Dates are 1/4/18 and 1/4/19. Important notes: voluntary adoption is not allowed for them. Voluntary adoption is not allowed for them. For banks, RBI has deferred the implementation till further notice. For insurance company, IRDA, Insurance Regulatory Development Authority, Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority, IRDA, they have deferred the implementation till further notice. Okay, we did till page number 5. From your page number 6, illustration number 1 will start after the break. We take a 10 minutes break. See you again after 10 minutes. Enjoy your break.